Family, question for you. Is Chris Paul the last NBA superstar point guard? I heard this question posed on one of the podcasts I listened to. I forget which one. And I thought, yeah, he is. He is. Chris Paul is the last NBA superstar true point guard that we're going to see. And I think there's a good reason for that, right? Typically, your point guard is your primary ball handler and your playmaker. But over time, particularly over the last 10, 15 years, playmaking and ball handling duties have went really to other players, right? You've got, I think off the top of my head, LeBron, Giannis, D-Wade when he was without LeBron. Even with LeBron, D-Wade was still a secondary ball handler, and Chalmers was really playing off the ball as a shooter. So I think Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, those playmaking duties, those ball handling duties, those decision-making duties that typically went to a classic point guard, Deron Williams, Chris Paul, Stockton, Zeke Thomas, your classic 6'2", 6'1", 6-foot point guard have really gone to the best ball handler and the best playmaker on the team. And so I looked up the starting point guards, or at least who they tell me are going to be the starting point guards for the 25-26 season. And they were right. Chris Paul is the last NBA superstar point guard, unless one of these guys can turn into one. But I'm going to read them to you, and you guys tell me if I'm wrong. Trae Young, Atlanta Hawks, he's not a classic point guard. Derek White, not a classic point guard. Igor Domin, pass, I don't know who that is. LaMelo Ball, I actually like LaMelo. He's one of my favorite players. I don't think he's a superstar. I do think he fits the mold of a maybe more traditional point guard, but he does shoot a lot, so maybe not. Maybe he's in between. Although I wouldn't necessarily call LaMelo a combo guard. Ayo Dosunmu, I don't know who that is. Darius Garland, don't think he's a traditional point guard. D'Angelo Russell, no. Jamal Murray for the Nuggets, no. Cade Cunningham for the Pistons, no. Steph for the Warriors, no. Fred VanVleet, yes, but he's hurt, and he's not a superstar. TJ McConnell, no. Jim Harden from the Clippers. James is really more of a classic combo guard. Luka Dončić is a point guard. I do think Luka's a point guard. He's a big guard. And I do think Luka's a traditional. I think he fits the mold of a traditional point guard. So, and obviously he's a superstar, but I think the podcast was talking about more traditional size point guards. So you think 6'1", 6'2", and lower. So, Ja Morant, exciting player, not a point guard. Tyler Hero, I don't think he's going to play point guard for Miami. I don't know why he's on this list. Kevin Porter Jr. for the Bucks, not sure who that is. Mike Conley is a traditional point guard, but he's not a superstar. DeJounte Murray for the Pelicans, not a traditional point guard. Jalen Brunson for the Knicks, not a traditional point guard. SGA, I love what he's doing, but not a traditional point guard. Jalen Suggs, he's a Minnesota boy. I think he's a traditional-ish, but not a superstar. I actually like this next guy, Tyrese Maxey. I like him a lot. Would love to see him take a next step after injury, but don't think he's a traditional ball handling, playmaking, getting people in stuff, getting things set up. I think he's much more of a scoring downhill point guard. Devin Booker for the Suns. Again, I don't know who put this list together. Listen, this is why you need to listen to my channel. These who put this list together that says Devin Booker is going to be a point guard for the Suns? Scoot Henderson, I'll be honest, I haven't watched him enough to see what his game is like. Zach LaVine, again, not a point guard. Maybe they'll have him in the point guard spot for the Kings. De'Aaron Fox, I do think he has superstar potential, but he's already 27, 28, and hasn't really made the next jump. Also, I don't know that he's a classic point guard in the mold of Deron Williams, Chris Paul, Zeke Thomas, John Stockton, those guys. Emmanuel Quickley, haven't seen enough of them. Isaiah Collier, not sure. And then C.J.